We start with our Newsmaker segment and talk with the newly elected mayor and CEO of the Unified Government of Kansas City, Kansas and Wyandotte County. David Alve's biography describes him as a proud, unapologetic, fifth-generation Dot who comes from a long line of public servants. Alve has most recently served as an at-large member of the Kansas City Board of Public Utilities. He will be the fourth person to serve as mayor since the city and county governments were consolidated 2 decades ago. Alve defeated incumbent Mayor Mark Holland in the recent election. As a Kansas City Kansan and Dot myself, I'm especially pleased to welcome David Alve to Ruckus. Mr. Alve, welcome and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
And when will you take office?
It's January 8th, 6 o'clock at Memorial Hall. And in the great tradition of Memorial Hall, I think we should have a wrestling match after the inaugurations.
Will that event be open to the general public?
Yes, it will.
All right. As I mentioned in the introduction, consolidation is now 20 years old. Do you think it's working? Is it better than what we had before?
So I think certainly in many ways it is better. You know, insofar as we've realized efficiencies in services, that's important. I think we still have a long way to go in terms of fulfilling the promise of consolidation. You know, with the recent development that we've had in the past 20 years, we have to find a way for that development to be felt by residents in our neighborhoods. And if we can kind of heal that disconnect, I think we're going to go a long way to moving this forward.
You're talking about the need for east side development and downtown development, something that every mayoral candidate has talked about for the past 30 years. What do you do to increase development in downtown and on the east side?
So I think the first thing we have to continue to do is there are plenty of folks who live in these neighborhoods who have a feel, know what is needed in their neighborhoods, and we have to answer those needs. So for instance, you know, the question of a grocery store in the Northeast, that's just one, but that's a fundamental human need that we have to address. You know, when I was walking door to door during the campaign, it did occur to me that if I like to cook, and if I needed an onion to finish a recipe, and if I lived, let's say, 29th and Brown, where do I go to get that onion? Let's say I'm elderly, 6 o'clock in the evening, where do I go just to get something fundamental? We have to solve that problem. And
but you'd agree that development on the west side, the NASCAR track and all those things have been positive for Kansas City, Kansas.
Absolutely.
Your three predecessors, Carol Marinovich, Joe Reardon, and Mark Holland, all seem to be in basic accord on how government should operate and what the basics are. How do you differ from them philosophically?
Well, I don't know that I differ with them philosophically, but I think I demonstrated, it's on the Board of Public Utilities and then on the Economic Development and Finance Standing Committee, also on the Unified Government Planning and Zoning, that I understand that it's just about fulfilling the promise of government. The promise of government is to provide the services that residents need at the lowest burden to them. And if we take care of those fundamental promises, then we're going to see the kind of growth. We're going to keep residents. They're not going to feel a need to move out. One of the things that still, you know, bothers me is when I would come to someone's door and ask them for their vote, they would say, well, we're out of here. You know, the taxes, especially someone who has reached retirement, they've paid off their mortgage, their mortgage, they're not putting money into an escrow account to cover their taxes. Now they're getting the bill. It really hits them as a shock. They're looking 20 years out on fixed income, and they're questioning whether they can sustain
We're
that.
down to about a minute, so let me ask a couple of quick questions to get some quick answers from you. Will you try to get taxes lowered then?
Absolutely.
All right. The old Indian Springs Shopping Center is owned by the city now.
Correct.
It's been demolished. It's just rubble. What needs to go there?
So I think, again, we have to let the market drive that decision. You know, whatever is going, in my opinion, whatever is going to drive the most revenues for the city. We need to expand the tax base, bring the taxes so we can relieve the burden on the rest. That needs to go there. At the same time, revenues that are generated by any development there needs to fulfill community needs. And so there's areas just west of that site that we could bring redevelopment to serve needs of those who live right in that vicinity.
And your immediate predecessor wants a downtown health campus. Is that something you see in the future?
So I would not call it a healthy campus. I really am
An
resistant.
unhealthy campus?
No, but I think we need to focus in on, first of all, we want to provide a grocery store, and then the downtown Y, again,
So it's
fulfills
not
a
the high
fundamental-
priority at the moment.
It's going to be there.
All right, thank you very much for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Again, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, sir.
That is David Alvey, the new mayor of KCK in God's country, as we like to think of it. Now let's meet the panel and start a ruckus.